when parents decide that they want to do Montessori, they want it all and they want it now. Just like fast food. They've heard all the benefits. Montessori kids are creative. They're independent. They work quietly by themselves, I guess. They're critical thinkers. And helping develop these skills is a time-sensitive, very limited period in a parent's life because children are growing up so fast.
That's right.
So it's not something that you can wait on, and parents know this. And they come to us, they come to other Montessori vendors with this expectation that they know this is the time to do Montessori. You've got to do it. You're either going to do it or you don't do it because time with children is so fleeting. But if you want to do Montessori and you want to do it right and you really want it all, it cannot be a happy meal. It can't. You just can't order it up. You have to engage with it slowly and thoughtfully and methodically and work on it as a practice.
Yeah, that's right. It's not a box of wooden materials or a preset routine or something you can download. I mean, I know they've tried many times to make the perfect Montessori app. It just doesn't work because Montessori, like all education, is about the dynamic process of understanding your child. So your job isn't to deliver the Montessori, it's to co-create that environment with your child, and you're going to use your knowledge of the sensitive periods and their interest and their readiness to guide them along that path. So it is not fast food, right? It's not made on an assembly line. There's not a big rush to get it out or it'll get cold. It's a meal. It's a fine meal. And your child is the chef. You're not the chef. It's your child. You are the sous chef, the assistant chef. You're the one who's preparing the environment, watching and adjusting, making the kitchen work in general. And from all that magic comes a delicious meal. And it is a happy meal.
It is a really, really happy meal. But it's not necessarily fast.
No, and there's no toy prize at the bottom.
All right, so I'm going to envision, if I were to envision the actual happy meal as a real Montessori meal, we would be reaching in, we'd be pulling out our observation toolkit, like we're using our powers of observation, and what else would be inside? We're using our
knowledge of the sensitive periods.
I think our knowledge of the scope and sequence too.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah, like what the progression of knowledge and understanding that a child will go through.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
Well, we're also pulling out a whole lot of trust in the child and willingness to make mistakes as well. And it is something that takes time for us to learn. Now,
yeah, what you're not looking for is a million cheeseburgers served in like an hour.
right.
Right? Like you can do that, but you've got to then uniformly, precisely, homogenized, produce them.
Yes.
And that's not what we're after, right? That's why a lot of standard approaches to education don't work. They really are, to a large degree, whether they admit it or not, working on a fast food model.
They are. There are lots of really great Montessori resources out there, and some of them do come in boxes, but that's not what we really are talking about when we talk about a boxed curriculum.
No.
In the homeschooling community, a boxed curriculum, send you a box, it's full of supposedly everything that you would need to teach your child for the entire year. Oh my gosh, that would be crazy if that actually worked. And it actually just it's not compatible with Montessori. So if you're wanting to do Montessori, that doesn't work. But what we're not talking about is Montessori resources that come in boxes.
No, I mean, just because it comes in a box isn't a bad thing.
Materials come in boxes. There are lots of creators out there who you can order cards from and stuff, and they will come in boxes, and that's great. We love Montessori resources. Bring in all the boxes.
I also love
you know what?
cheeseburgers.
The more boxes you have around the house, the more creative your kid is going to get with them. And so win for boxes.
That's right.
But a box curriculum isn't going to be the way that you can follow your child. And in
That's
the
right.
general homeschooling community, there are a lot of these systems out there that claim to be all-in-one and in fact are not really all-in-one curriculums.
Yeah, it's just an overpromise. Right? There's a sense, I think at the end of the day, it's a sense that you can, if you give enough stuff or whatever, then you'll have filled the gaps. And it goes with this whole idea we've talked about many times, which is that we think the materials themselves are going to do the work, or that if we have really great worksheets, it's going to help them learn mathematics or whatever. Like, or just the right book will turn the child on to reading. Like it doesn't work that way. It's a process that requires effort, skill, creativity, a lot of trust, a lot of fun. You have to really lean into it. So there's a lot of over-promising in the educational community. The fact is that education is unique. It's unique to your child. And when we embrace that, it becomes truly happy.
But oh no, it sounds like it's very complicated now. There's so much to consider, the sensitive periods and the scope and sequence, and it's unique. How can we all make it work and make it feasible for parents? Let's give two examples of two different, totally different types of children. And we're going to make Montessori work for them.
Okay.
And it's going to show you that it's not as complicated as it sounds, but it does require an understanding of the Montessori method.
That's right.
Are you ready?
I am ready. And I also want to encourage all of you who are watching live, if you have your own scenario that you would like us to think through, pop that in the chat. We'd love to see it. Okay.
Okay, give us
So
the
this is
first
going to be
one.
familiar. These are, imagined children, but I think they'll resonate. So our first child, we're going to call him Leo. He's about 3.5, and he's always moving. He's moving. He's very curious and deeply kinesthetic. If you put him in a room, he's going to find a way to jump. He's going to find a way to run around. He's always climbing and scooting. He wants to get into the water. If there's a puddle, he's going to jump in that puddle and make a big splash. He's always looking for a way to get those wiggles out. And he's really resistant for sit for a long and do some fine motor work. So, if you want to put him in front of let's say you want to do some coloring, he's not interested in the coloring. He wants to run around some more.
And be chased and play tickle
fights.
And hop onto your shoulders and be carried around.
That's right. So you might have a puppy, like a Leo, in your own life. We love our puppies, but sometimes we really feel like we need to give those puppies a lesson. And let's say in this scenario that we want to give them a sound game. It's a classic. Activity.
It's a level 1.
Yep, you give it pretty early in the curriculum. It's essential for reading and writing and other skills. So it's a really important one. But poor Leo, he just can't sit still long enough to take the lesson. He just wants to throw the object. So you give him some objects to do the sounds. Whoa, pew, 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 pew,
He starts banging them together.
Yeah, now they're making a sound. And you're like, is he even ready for this? What am I doing wrong? Okay, so what should we do with poor Leo?
Okay, we're going to say our focus is we want to give Leo a sound lesson to develop his auditory skills. He's already 3.5, and we know that he's in the period where he's hearing sounds, and we want to develop that. We're not ready to teach him how to read exactly.
No.
But we're having him listen to sounds.
A pre-reading activity.
Yes. So here are some things we can do with Leo. So the first thing I heard over and over and over when you were talking about Leo was he is prime for gross motor skill development right now.
Yes.
Okay. It's not that he can't learn the auditory skills as well, but big gross motor movement is paramount for him. And so we can think, all right, what are some ways that we can use that energy to help him to learn his sounds as well?
Okay.
Okay, so we're thinking, I know that this was a very controversial move for our family. But at one point, I did purchase a mini trampoline for our living room.
Yes. Yes, you did.
Yes, I did. Remained controversial. But yeah, Leo needs to move. And
Leo needs
so
to move.
can we play those sound games while Leo is jumping or running around? Maybe we take this lesson outside and, while Leo is engaged in some kind of gross motor physical activity, we start to incorporate some of those sound games, right? Like in the environment, in the space where he is.
Yeah, in the space you have. We bought that little mini tramp because we've lived in cities since we left Dallas, where we had like a lawn. But since then, we've lived in pretty small places. And so that mini tramp, as much as I didn't love seeing the mini trampoline in the middle of the living room for years,
Replaced our coffee table.
it was actually super useful. It was a great way to let our little Leos get their wiggles out.
Yep.
Another idea.
And sometimes we did it. We definitely. I actually learned the trampoline trick from another homeschool mom who bought one. She also had 2 little boys at home, and she showed me which one that she had, and she said, "This thing, like we do so many lessons while they're jumping, you would not believe it." They learned, they did math on it. They talked about history. They had conversations while they were jumping.
As much as I was like, oh, haha, the fact is that this is a great technique and it works for a long time, especially with boys who sometimes are reluctant to talk and open up unless they're doing something. So if you have a teenage boy or a preteen boy and you're trying to get to maybe share with them, maybe not a trampoline, but could be a trampoline. Do something physical. It really works. It's certainly going to work for Leo. Okay.
Right. But that's not the only way to incorporate movements.
I was going to say, well, how else could you do it?
Yeah, okay, so there's this really cool thing we do in Montessori. When we are giving a lesson, I know that you probably go online and you see demonstrations of lessons by teachers. Because it's really hard to model this online. I will say, teachers are doing a great job out there who, are demoing the Montessori lessons on YouTube and, sharing what they're doing with their kids in blog posts and on Instagram and all. But it's really hard to actually demonstrate how it works in real life. But one of the classic techniques that we can employ, especially that works really, really well with those young ones, is to get them physically moving, going from one side of the room to the other. So with the sounds, something that you could do that, is not just kind of up here ethereal only in the ears, is to make it really tangible and to give Leo something to do. And so you might say, in our kitchen, is something that begins with, what is it? I left it on the counter for you. And then Leo's going to run into the kitchen, look on the counter, and he won't have to think himself about what starts with because you'll have already put a muffin on the counter, right? And then he'll grab the muffin and he'll come back and he'll bring it to you and you'll say, muffin, right? And you'll be making that sound connection, also engaging Leo's senses and giving him something physically to go and do. So for him, it feels purposeful, even though you know that you're teaching a sound lesson.
Yeah, so you might say, you know what I really want with my muffin is I want to something. Maybe there's something on the counter that starts with a p sound. He goes and he gets a plate.
Oh, it's like, it's not going to be a potato.
No, but you can bring that plate back and now you put your muffin on the plate. Yeah, so it becomes useful. Your kids will love this. There's variations of this too, like a fetch game that we play.
Yeah. Also called the Bring Me game.
Yeah, Bring Me game. Yep, those are really fun. And it's a great way to kind of get that big kinesthetic wiggly kid engaged. All right, another one is go outside.
Right.
Right? So you can classify anything, including natural objects that you find out in the world. So go out there, have Leo run around and collect some fun stuff, and then bring those back and classify them. Oh, look, here's all the leaves. Here's all the leaves. Here's all the rocks. What else would you classify from outside? Flowers.
Sticks.
Sticks. You could even, there's all kinds of variations on this too, though. Like we just heard that story last week about the mom who was waiting for the dad to come out. And what did the little guy do? He ordered rocks from big to small. So outside work that really engages the big senses.
I'm thinking this is also a great time to bring in some alliteration into your general language. And so as you were talking about bringing those nature materials in, I was thinking maybe emphasizing like these are red rocks, right? And just encouraging him to hear the r sound in both of those.
Yes.
Or like maybe bring some sticks and stones, and you emphasize that s sound. So it doesn't have to necessarily always be an I Spy game. Nope. I think parents kind of get tripped up with that. The I Spy game is great. It's 100%, in one of our level 1 lessons for reading
activity.
and writing.
It's a real deal.
But there are many, many variations on that concept of I Spy. And a lot of that just does come down to making your child aware of hearing the sound.
Because that's the purpose. Right. The other thing that we would advise is maybe delay some of that pencil-based activity. If the wiggles just aren't going away yet, maybe instead of jumping into sandpaper letters, offer something simpler, like maybe sand tray with the finger or a chalkboard, maybe using the metal insets, doing things that might be a little bit easier for someone who's kind of wiggly to manipulate.
I'm not sure what you mean on that one.
It's as though we don't rehearse. I mean, like if your little guy just cannot sit still and hold that pencil and do some tracing work, or draw neatly, maybe they're just not even ready to do the coloring.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Sorry.
Sometimes you just want to give them a little bit bigger, looser, more tactile experiences. So that maybe like water play, doing tracing in a sand
Maybe you're outside, you're using your fingers to draw in the sand or in the dirt, right? And so you're not going right to the metal insets or the sandpaper letters.
Right.
Yeah, you're waiting.
Yeah, you might be doing something, I can imagine, again, you're going to follow your child, but it could be that you then introduce something where, tracing around an inset is simpler than freehand writing, and that's a step anyway. So kind of progressing along. So another good idea that we have here is from Petra says, my daughter's like that. She's like the Leo, I think. Oh. She sits on my lap. I think it's her way to sit still, and she still listens to everything. That's proximity, physical touch. That's an awesome way. It goes with that idea of movement, right? Because movement is about moving the body, feeling the body, big sensorial expressions, a big hug or warmth of the mom or dad or whatever is also part of that as well, and can be very comforting. That's going to be a good time to maybe start to introduce some of those more fine motor skill activities too once they get ready for it.
That's right. And if you are here and you have a little one, just know that in Montessori, like developing the ears, strengthening those motor skills with practical life activities and sensorial work is so incredibly important, much more important than the actual writing process. Totally. And I think a lot of people, you want the whole Happy Meal and you're like, I'm going to do Montessori and that means sandpaper letters. Maybe not yet. Wait a little bit.
Sitting on your lap and doing soundboard books for a long time can be okay, right? Because you're just training the ear, you're having that emotional connection. It's good learning. Yeah, totally.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, so using that approach, you're going to take Leo from being this wiggly child who doesn't ever listen to you and doesn't want to pay attention to a lesson to a child where you have integrated in the things that are already important to Leo's development.
He's still wiggly.
And you are going to see... But you're going to see a change. And the change is going to be in your expectations of what Leo is capable of. You're going to automatically assume that if it's going to be a sit-down activity, you're going to be ready and willing to adapt that lesson and incorporate movement in. And to just appreciate Leo for the
wonderfulness that Leo is.
Wonderful human being that he is right now, which is a very wiggly and movement-needing person, and to trust that as he grows and develops, your lessons will get longer and he will pay more attention.
Wiggly Leo will not always be Wiggly Leo.
That's right.
But he can learn a lot from you during this practice, you're going to hear these sounds come out in his play.
It doesn't mean that the Montessori is not working. You are making Montessori work for Leo.
Okay, let's talk about a different kind of little guy.
Let's talk about little girl.
Oh, okay.
All right, so I'm imagining a child right now based on an example from many of the stories I've heard from the members in our community. Let's call her Aria. Aria is a quiet child. She really loves holding the hand of her mom and dad and walking together, but she tends to be very cautious. She's shy of strangers, but she pays attention. She's about 5 years old, and so she has the ability to concentrate, but she seems a little hesitant to do the lessons that her parent is presenting to her. So here's what happens. So parent starts to present something and encourages Aria to maybe start doing a little writing with the movable alphabet. Here's the movable alphabet. Here's what it can do. Aria won't touch it. And the parent knows that Aria is capable of it. She's a smart cookie. She has her auditory development, has long been developed. She can I spy things. She knows her sound. She knows her letters. She's got lots of things to say, and she's very curious about the world. But for some reason, when she starts using the movable alphabet, she just gets really frustrated really fast.
Oh boy.
And you start to see like the tears come a little bit, or maybe she just pretends like she's not interested in it and doesn't care. Maybe she insists that a parent do that work instead.
You do it.
And just refuses and just says, I'll watch while you do it. Or maybe she, will eye it, but then go choose something else instead. But she never goes and chooses that movable alphabet herself, even though she has the capability of it.
You see the signs of readiness. Everything is pointing to yes. She sits down to do that movable alphabet, and nothing
just
happens.
Frustration, immediate frustration.
She wants you to do it. She doesn't want to do it. She walks away. Something. Okay. What could be going on here?
Okay. The number one thing that is probably going on is some kind of internal confidence that has not developed yet. She is getting trapped in perfectionism. It is preventing her from showing you what she really can do. Even you know what she can do, but she doesn't believe that she can do it yet. Okay?
I think a lot of adults can relate to this. We all... It's amazing how similar children and adults really are.
It really
is. Really
yeah.
think about it. Yeah, that sense of overwhelm, sense of imposter syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Little guys feel that too, just as much as we big guys do. So, if you understand, so the movable alphabet came in your Happy Meal kit, and you took it out, and you're like, I guess nobody likes this toy prize.
Right.
That's not necessarily the case. What you need to have is you got to apply that understanding of the Montessori method and make some adaptations. So, for example, you might reduce the overwhelm by reducing the number of letters that you provide to her so that it's only the letters she needs to build certain words. So don't give her the full movable alphabet. Don't even give her 10 letters.
Yeah.
Just give her CVC letters that make a variety of simple CVC words.
Yeah. Another trick to this is to only give her the letters to write. This is, we're not talking about all children here. If your child is raring to go with the movable alphabet, then let them write whatever they want.
Right there, right.
But if we're talking about an Aria who is very, very cautious by nature and needs a lot of confidence building first, she's going to want to have seen the words in written form and be super familiar with them before she starts writing them with the movable alphabet. And so you might not only give her only the letters that she needs, pull them out of your box, put them in a separate, put the box away. It's too many letters. Only get out the letters that she needs, and then make sure that she can read those words first. So you're going to give her, let's say we're working on ought words. So you'll show her the word pot, got, mott, tot, lot, and they could be made up words. as well, Zot, whatever, so that she has seen them physically. And then you're going to demonstrate the whole lesson first. You're going to show her how to write those words. And she will be able to, correct herself, like with a little visual, like you'll have the written word there.
You
You'll
wrote
have written it.
B-O-T, bot, like robot.
And then you're going to word build for her. And so is she capable of hearing the word and then just writing it flat out, finding the letters? You know that she is, but she doesn't know that she is yet. And she needs this extra step of support and practice in order to build the confidence. And so are you giving her a work that's too easy for her? Yes. And you're doing it on purpose.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, the books are right for Aria, like she is the right age and you're seeing the signs of readiness. But as the educator, parent, what you know about your child, your little Aria, is that she needs that little bit of extra help. And it's not a failure to give a little bit of an easier assignment at the start to build that confidence. We all have to walk before we run.
That's right. But there are other things that you can do as well. So you're reducing overwhelm by giving her a certain number of letters to work with, not the whole box. You can also do a thing that is super, super effective that we teach in our courses that, if you're a member and you have forgotten, I want you to make note of this, get out your pencil. This is really, really important. When you are working with the movable alphabet with children and you want to give them a way to build in that control of error. You might be thinking, the movable alphabet, there's no control of error here unless I, show them how something is spelled. You don't have to do that. Just read it back to them the way you see it phonetically spelled.
Yes.
And so if your child has written something and it is incorrect, they can correct their own mistakes when you read it. And so you're just going to go letter by letter and read it out loud, and your child will hear if they have missed a letter.
So, for example, what? Like they want to spell the word dog and they spell DG.
Yeah, I guess you would read it dig. And they would say, no, I meant dog. And you would say, oh, you meant dog. And they would say, oh, yeah, aw. It goes in between these two. And then they will pull out that O. Another way to build in that control of error is if you only give them the letters that they need to make the exact words, and they're not just, writing freely, but, you're going to give them specific words to write. And here are, maybe you give them some objects, and you've got like a dog and a pig and a cat. You're going to give them the letters that they need to make dog, pig, and cat, and no more. And if they have any extra letters, they'll know that they missed one. And so that's a way that they can look and say, oh, the I is still left.
Yeah.
It must go in here somewhere. And so it's almost like solving a puzzle. And Aria will really love that. She'll feel very secure knowing that she has a way to correct her errors, and that if she does make a mistake, that she can figure it out without too much trouble.
Yes, that's right.
And not feel bad about it. Last thing that you should do for Aria, as often as you possibly can, is make mistakes in front of her.
That's right.
And this can be everything from, oops, I forgot to put this last dish in the dishwasher. Oh, well, I'll get it next time. Okay, easy mistake to make, very low consequences, to working with the movable alphabet in front of her and you making a mistake or forgetting, to spell something correctly, and then correcting yourself by reading it back out loud to yourself, hearing the sound that you forgot, and then going back for that extra letter. Okay, and this is a modeling process that Aria needs to see in order to feel like she can make those mistakes, and that the stakes for making mistakes is a lot lower than she thought.
Yeah, that it's just a natural thing, and even mommies and daddies make mistakes.
That's right. So anyway, and also, again, just like with Leo, to trust that Aria is on her own journey. She's got a lot of perfectionist tendencies, and that's a temperamental trait, so that might carry with her a little bit, but it's not going to ruin her life. There are good things about being a perfectionist in life as well. I think that could describe many a ballet dancer or writer or, it's not a
Athletes
bad
or
thing.
scientists. Yeah, I mean,
That's right.
perfectionism isn't necessarily, it's when it controls you
Right.
and limits you. And that's really what they're trying to teach, right? Like, it's good to want to do it correctly, to be right. It's nice. But it's also important to know that you weren't always going to get it right. And actually, if you got it right from the start every time, it wouldn't be very much fun.
That's right.
So the joy in life is the learning of it. And so making mistakes is an important part of that process. And you're just kind of trying to help Aria lean into that and let go a little bit. Yeah.
That's right.
All right. So we have a comment. Oh, it's Vidya. Hello, Vidya.
Hi,
It's
Vidya.
happy to have you with us. I know that you are visiting another part of the world and you have a chance to join us live. So happy to have you with us. Okay. So it's not a Happy Meal, right? The Happy Meal came with the book and the movable alphabet or whatever, the book and the thing, and it said, okay, this is what you do. Your child is 5.5. Your child should be doing this, and that's how a lot of school is organized. And yes, there are general guidelines. We know that a child at a certain age should, in general, be ready for certain things. It is not precise. It is not precise. It is a range. And that range is determined by your child's personality, their readiness, their maturity. And just because they're not at that point does not mean that they are broken or wrong or that you're doing something wrong. And frankly, a little bit hard to hear, just because they're past that doesn't mean that they're super gifted. It just means that they're stronger in certain areas than others.
That's right.
And over time, those things will even out, or you'll see what emerges as their areas of brilliance and beauty. So it's not a Happy Meal. It can't come out of the box and you just do it. Instead, you have to know the technique. You've got to know what's going on. You need to understand how to deliver those modifications as you're seeing it. And you need to do it in a way that's fun and family friendly.
That's right. And there's no boxed curriculum, all-in-one boxed curriculum that can do this.
That's right.
You as the guide are the one to implement the full method. And honestly, it makes us super, super happy. It makes us so happy that we keep developing and working on this curriculum that we are offering our members here at Child of the Redwoods.
That's right. So, of course, we're very proud, and we're very proud. We know we have some members watching us. We're super proud of the curriculum we make. This month we did dandelion. Next month we're doing pets. It's going to be really fun. We have a whole bunch of really cool stuff coming up over the year. We love making our study packs, and we loved writing our core curriculum. But that's not the heart of our approach. What we wanted to do as an organization when Aubrey and I set out to create Child of the Redwoods is we wanted to make sure that every parent, every mom and dad out on the earth who wanted to use the Montessori method could. And that meant, yes, a good curriculum, a great scope and sequence, but also the confidence and knowledge and joy that comes with knowing the Montessori method. And so our approach to teaching Montessori and to helping parents learn and use Montessori is focused around that. It is a good curriculum, but it's also the how to use it. And if you're interested in learning how to spot these kind of challenges and figure out those adaptations, like for Leo and Aria and your own little guys at home, you can do that. If you join us, this is a great time to do so because we're about to launch our coaching schedule for the fall and spring, where we're not only going to show you all the different lessons in the core curriculum, we're also going to work with you in small groups to help learn how to apply those techniques in your actual home on a daily basis. And this is a full year program. Right? We're doing this. We've actually changed our coaching a little bit for the 2025-2026 season. It's going to be a full school year of coaching for both primary and the lower elementary years from September to May. And this coaching is completely included, along with a lot of other really great offerings inside our unlimited plan.
That's right.
So the unlimited plan has all of those awesome study packs we've talked about in the past, the full leveled curriculum, so for ages 2 to 9, plus access to the community, plus all sorts of special fun events and our planning, and as an unlimited member, all of that additional coaching and all the additional workshops and all the additional stuff that comes with it that really is going to make you a superstar in terms of applying the Montessori method in a real way in your home.
That's right.
Yep.
All right. Well, beautiful. Do we have a special friend today?
Oh, I see. I thought there was something else happening.
No.
We're going to cut that part out, folks. No. Yeah, I think it's that time of the day where we have to invite a very special furry friend to join us. It, of course, is the Mr. Bunny time. Let's see. Mr. Bunny, are you here? Are you here, Mr. Bunny? Oh, here he comes. I see him. Oh, good. Here he comes. Here comes our funny friend. Oh, he's always got so many jokes and laughs.
What? Oh, hey, Mr. Bunny. You look kind of sad. Are you feeling sad?
I mean, I guess.
Oh, well, you're hanging your little bunny head and your little ears are flopping down and you seem to be kind of covering your face. That makes me think maybe you're upset.
Well, I guess. I'm a little upset.
Oh, poor Mr. Bunny. Well, what's going on? Why are you feeling sad? Do you want to tell us about it?
Well, okay. I was out in the woods and I found all these sticks and I built a little toy house. And it was such a cool little toy house. It was the coolest little toy house.
Like a little fort or something.
Yeah, that's right. It was so cool. I worked on it all day, and then I had to go home. And then when I came back the next day, it was gone.
Wait, you went out into the woods and you built a little playhouse.
Yeah.
Because I know you live in a burrow.
Well, yes.
For your real house, but you were just building a little house to play in, like a little play fort, and you worked on it. And what did you build the house with?
Sticks. I found all these sticks. Yeah.
All right, so you built a little house with sticks.
Yeah, and then it was gone the next day. I came back,
You went
and there
back
was
out.
no house.
What?
That's right.
Well, maybe you went to the wrong place or something.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't in the place where you thought it was.
No, I checked. I looked all over. Yeah. So, well, I decided I wasn't going to take no for an answer, so I built another one. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
wow.
Right. But you know what
Mr.
happened?
Bunny.
It was. I came back the next day. It was gone too.
What?
Yes.
You did so much work.
I know. Oh, it was so sad.
Oh,
I really liked that second one even more than the first one.
Oh.
Oh boy. So then I built a third one.
What? You
Yeah.
lost 2 playhouses.
Yeah, and then I built a third one.
And then you built a third one.
Yeah, and this time, you know what I did? I hid underneath a log and I watched because I wanted to see what happened to my playhouse. You know what it is?
Well, what was happening to your playhouses?
It was birds.
Birds?
The birds. They were flying down and snatching the little twigs and going up and making nests.
Oh, my
goodness. I said, hey, come back here, you birds.
Mr.
But they
Bunny,
didn't listen.
the birds were taking your sticks.
Yes.
And, you know, birds really do like to come and get sticks for their nests. Do you think maybe they were just thinking that maybe you had provided a whole bunch of sticks for them?
I don't know. I just don't like it. I made that house, and it was my house, and I wanted my mommy to see it, and I wanted to play in it. And
Oh, I get it, Mr. Bunny. That does make, I can understand why you're feeling sad or upset.
yeah.
I mean, what is your plan? Do you feel
I don't
like,
know.
are you going to just keep building more houses?
Right,
or-
so the birds can eat it or take it away. Or
I mean, it
Yeah.
sounds like you can't really prevent the birds from taking this. I mean, the birds think that those sticks are available, right, for them to play with and build their own nests with.
I guess.
Well, I understand how frustrating this is. Mr. Bunny, have you ever experienced anything like this before?
This is the worst thing that I've ever experienced, ever.
Oh, gosh.
No, nothing can compare.
Oh.
Oh, it's just so sad.
I'm really sorry for you, Mr. Bunny. You know, I have an idea.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it?
Well, have you ever had a delicious carrot?
Have I ever had a delicious carrot?
I bet he has.
I mean, come on. I am the carrot king. Yes, of course I've had a delicious carrot. I don't understand why that helped.
Well,
Tell me about this carrot. Well, it was really juicy and it was beautiful and orange. It came from Carrot Island. That's the place where all the best carrots grow. You know that. Everybody knows Carrot
Yeah.
Island. Oh, yes.
Carrot Island, of
yes,
course.
of course. It was so good. Yum, 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 yum. Mmm. I love it. Is that supposed to cheer me up just thinking about a carrot?
well, no. I was wondering what it was about the carrot that you like so much.
Oh, it's crunchy and delicious. Oh, boy.
So it was when you ate the carrot, you really enjoyed it.
That's right. Oh, yes.
Were you sad after you ate it?
Well, only because I wanted more carrots.
And did you get more carrots?
Oh, you know it. Carrot Island is the best.
Now, what would have happened if you didn't eat that carrot?
Well, why wouldn't I eat that carrot?
You know, like if you were to, I don't know, put the carrot on the shelf and watch it.
Watch it rot? Oh, that would be a terrible shame. Carrots are
can't
meant
imagine.
to be eaten.
Mr. Bunny would never do that.
Of course not.
So you see, like when you ate the carrot, it was gone,
Well, yes.
but it also was like the fun part of it.
Yeah, so?
Well, like that's kind of how it is in life. Everything goes away eventually. I mean, nothing lasts forever. And actually, a lot of times, the thing that makes it so much fun and happy and joyful is the part about doing it. So, like, if you just looked at that carrot, it would be kind of boring. But if you eat the carrot, then you really get it delicious, and you get to experience it in every way.
Yeah, well, how's that like my beautiful fort?
Well, I don't know. How did you enjoy building it?
Yeah, of course. It was great.
Yeah. How about the second time you built it? Did
It
you
was
enjoy that?
even better. See, the first time, it kind of fell down. I had to be honest with you. But then I learned that if I put a little rock on the bottom, it'll stand up taller. Yep, it was extra tall. That's right.
Well, I bet when you built it that third time,
Oh,
you definitely
boy.
put a rock in there.
I
man.
did. And I used a little leaf for a flag at the top. Boy, it was so great. I learned so much every time I built a house.
You know what, Mr. Bunny? This kind of reminds me of building sandcastles at the beach. I really like to build those. I don't know if you've been to a beach, but when you build a sandcastle at the beach, you can work really, really hard on your sandcastle and decorate it with shells
Yeah.
and make little flags out of
Yeah,
feathers.
yeah.
But then the waves come in and they wash it away
Oh,
every time.
I guess I understand. But you do it anyway because it was so much fun.
Oh yeah, I love building sandcastles.
Yeah, it's like when you ate that carrot, eating it was a big part of what made it so delicious. If you just like put it there, it wouldn't be very interesting. Can you imagine if you just put your first fort there and it just was there forever? I mean, eventually it would just be boring to you.
I guess.
Yeah, it's the doing part that's fun. And nothing is permanent. Everything kind of moves on. And what we keep with us is the memories and the fun we had and all the good stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a hard lesson sometimes. It's not easy just to be happy with only the memories.
Yeah.
But it's a part of growing up, is learning that nothing lasts forever, but our memories and the things that we keep in our heart, those can last forever.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, Mr. Bunny, I would like to cheer you up. Can I help with that?
Okay.
Okay,
I'll give
well,
it a shot.
I know that you really love jokes, and so I thought
Well,
of a joke. I don't
do
know
like
if you've
jokes.
heard it before, but what did one egg say to the other egg?
I don't know. What?
You crack me up.
Oh, boy. That is a good one. You're a yokester all the way.
You're always asking me to tell a joke, and I
Yeah,
could
yeah,
never
yeah,
think
yeah.
of one, but I did think of one for
I'm
you.
dying of laughter.
Oh,
you know what? I'm gonna go tell those birds. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Ah, thank you.
Mwah.
Thank you.
We love you, Mr. Bunny.
Well, Mr. Brunning learned a life lesson there.
Oh my goodness.
It's a hard one,
He
right?
really did.
I mean, that's actually something that I know I experienced. I think everybody has to go through that, where you make something. I remember making it didn't snow very much where I grew up, but making a little tiny snowman because that was all the snow that ever fell in our yard, and then it melted and I was devastated.
Yeah.
Or you make a sand castle, or you draw a picture, or you have something you really like. Maybe somebody gives you a piece of jewelry and you lose it and you're really sad. That happens a lot. In fact, it happens to all of us. And learning that resilience is a big part of it. And also learning to value the things in life that really matter, which are the memories, the love, the feeling around us. Those are the permanent things, not the material things.
That's right.
And that's a good lesson for all little bunnies out there to learn.
I love it. I'm so glad he stopped by. Well, we have one more thing to share with you today, friends.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we got some mail.
We have some mail, and thanks for all the positive comments. I will share those with Mr. Bunny.
Aw, it's the mailman.
It's the mailman.
So this letter comes from P. Sharma. P. Sharma 2025 writes us and asks if we can help knowing how to switch from a regular school where her child was in school up until grades 2 or 3 and now wants to switch to a Montessori homeschooling approach.
Oh, yeah.
All right. She says, I'm not able to figure out where to start or what to do or what to skip from Montessori for primary and the elementary levels. My child went to conventional school for grade 1. Now he's in grade 2 in online schooling. It'll take some time for me to understand it, meaning Montessori.
Yeah.
Only then can I really start with my child. And I guess it'll take me a year to understand and learn before teaching. Should I continue my child with online schooling for this year and make myself ready by next session? Or can I switch directly to Montessori? Please help. We would love to help you. All right, so there are a few things that we can break down. For one, I've known so many families who have started with traditional schooling and then started homeschooling because they saw a better path for their child after
there's all
they
kinds
had
of
entered.
reasons a traditional school doesn't work.
And also, just because you choose homeschooling for the current time period doesn't mean it's going to be forever. I have known families who started, sent their kid to kindergarten, homeschooled for first grade, sent their kid to second grade, homeschooled for another couple years, sent their kid back to school. It's okay. And so there's no one perfect right way to do homeschooling. All right.
It's really based on what's right for your family.
That's right. And online schooling, there are lots of online resources out there, including Child of the Redwoods. We do most of our teaching online, even though we don't teach children online.
No, this is all two parents for us.
That's right. And there are lots of good resources out there. There's no reason why you have to only go with one method and never go with another method. You can mix and match them, especially with older children.
Oh, yeah.
Our kids took classes in a variety of different things while we were also incorporating a lot of the Montessori approach. Now, if your child is in grade 2 or 3 and they have never experienced the Montessori method before, you can use our lower elementary curriculum.
Oh, for sure.
You absolutely can. If your child has already gone, I would say if your child's already gone through Montessori school in a traditional Montessori classroom all the way through the end of 3rd grade and they're going into 4th grade, you can use parts of our lower elementary curriculum, but your child will probably be familiar with most of the core lessons inside it. All right. But if your child has never been in Montessori before, you can start with lower elementary. It is not going to dumb things down to a lower level.
No.
In fact, these lessons are so rich and interesting and curiosity building that even adults get a whole lot out of these lessons that we offer our children in Montessori for the elementary age group.
Yes, that's right. I know you mentioned that your child was working through a general international standard of curriculum, and I'm not familiar with the specifics, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the material that your child will be learning in the lower elementary curriculum in a Montessori environment is going to be at or beyond what is generally required for a first or second level or
Absolutely.
greater.
Yeah.
The types of anatomy, as an example, the level of grammar, the level of geometry, the mathematical concepts, the algebraic concepts. A lot of these are pretty advanced, so advanced that even most of our members don't even complete
Get to them,
because there's so much else. And you know what? It's not a problem.
That's right.
So
That's right.
I think the only part for me that sticks out is the sense of having to invest so much time up front. Now, I
Right.
think if you want to feel super duper confident, sure, you can go off and do research. However, as a homeschooling family, this is not the approach we would recommend.
Right.
I think you need to instead embrace the fact that you're going to be learning together. I mean, we've been doing this a long time and we still learn all the time. So instead, our approach, for example, is if you were brand new to the Montessori method or even experienced, it doesn't matter. We would suggest you come in and you start with our current study.
Yeah.
So right now we're doing dandelion. Next month we're doing pets. And we designed our constellation studies to cover a wide range of ages. So your older child is going to be just as happy as a much younger one.
That's right.
Doing this. If pets doesn't ring a bell, you'll pick a different study from our library. But basically what you're doing is learning the basics of Montessori by doing. And you're going to couple that by enrolling in our self-paced course. We have one on primary and one on lower elementary. Because again, your child is older, so we would say lower elementary is going to match better. Yeah. But because you're new to Montessori, take the primary as well. They're both included in both the complete and unlimited.
That's
and
right.
then get into the community, start to make friends, figure out who is dealing with children or a child around the same age, what's working for them. We're in the community as well. And then after you really kind of get your sea legs under you, then you're going to start to bring out more of the foundational curriculum.
That's right.
You're going to start to pull cards from the core curriculum, more reading and writing basics and things like that, as you become comfortable with the Montessori approach through the course and through the method more generally, and really understanding what your child is up to by using the studies.
Yeah. I think a lot of parents do get trapped in the idea that they have to study for a whole year before they're able to understand and start implementing. And that is not true. No. You want to start giving these lessons while you are learning yourself. And that will actually, that's a really, honestly, like that is the best way to learn is through that hands-on experience with your child, looking at the lesson, digesting it, presenting it to your child or working with them on a project. And for your age child, I would think like these big Montessori projects that were going to be super fun are going to be in those great lessons.
Oh yeah,
and so I would, if I were you, feel free, to just dive in. Take the lower elementary course. You can binge through it. Or you can just like let it unfold through the year, through the coaching sessions, whichever method feels best to you. But don't wait to give the lessons. Jump on in.
Yeah, you're going to learn best by doing. It's the case in almost everything in life.
That's right.
And so we're actually really strong advocates of not waiting too long. Like the program and just learning in general always is better. So, take the time you need. I would say my answer to the question is you can start anytime you want, whenever it's right for your family.
Yep.
It's not too late. You don't have to be an expert to do it. You're already teaching your child. You will not break them. No. If you're giving an honest effort to educate them in the Montessori way, you are going to succeed to some degree. It may not be a masterpiece every time, but the progress will be there and you will see results because it's a time-tested method.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was really fun.
Thank you for your letter.
Yeah, thanks for your letter. Wink, wink. If you have questions for us, please leave them in the comments underneath this video or just email us at hello@childoftheredwoods.com.
That's right.
A great way to get started with our work at Child of the Redwoods would be by taking the quiz at childoftheredwoods.com/quiz.
Yeah,
or just go to our website at childoftheredwoods.com and you'll see it there. It's a fun little quiz. It's super easy, and we'll send you some information about how to use your results for your child's best learning experience.
Yeah, based
at
on the
home.
type of homeschooler you want to be.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, we will see you next week for another episode of the Power Hour. Until then, I hope you guys have a great week. And thank you so much for everybody who showed up, especially those of you who came from quite a distance electronically to be here with us. Thank you so much. It's always great.
All right. Love you, friends.